As a huge fan of the Vikings TV series, I have long wanted to take an international vacation to visit the actual filming locations of the show. Lucky for me, those dreams became a reality, as I was able to travel to Ireland, the filming location of Kattegat, and Iceland, where the character Floki took a majestic journey to in the show and visited many of its beautiful sights. So the most important location to visit was of course Lough Tay, or the setting of Kattegat. Truly a sight to see. It was actually me and my wife's favorite sight to see in Ireland, even if you ignore the fact that it's in Vikings. Here's the beautiful hike to the awesome view of the lake. The hike wasn't that long, but it was still beautiful. Lough Tay is set on private property in the Wicklow Mountains. It belongs to the Guinness estate at Luggala. Here's the view from one of the other lookout spots. There's more than one lookout spot to view the lake from, and I certainly didn't want to stop at just one. These are some of the best pictures that we took. Here's a nice comparison shot of the real thing and how it appears in the show. Here's a shot of the lake from ground level. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make it down here as it's private property. We also went to the Powerscourt waterfall. Very magnificent sight. Most notably, this is where Ragnar sees Auslog for the first time. She's bathing in the waterfall with her handmaidens. Powerscourt is the second highest waterfall in Ireland. This waterfall also appeared in the film Excalibur. You can see the Powerscourt waterfall in the background of the scene where Ragnar and Athelstan recite the Lord's Prayer. Interestingly, the Powerscourt waterfall was also used in some scenes where Floki visits Iceland. See here for a shot where Powerscourt actually represents an Iceland location in Season 5. The river next to the waterfall was beautiful. It looked like it was straight out of the TV show. As we drove away, the woods here reminded me of some scenes from the TV show. I imagine these types of woods were used for many of the filming locations. Next, we traveled to Iceland to visit several of the sites that Floki visited in the show. Floki undertook a journey of discovery to this magical land, and our trip to this small island was really not that much different in a sense. The main location we wanted to visit in Iceland was the Skogafoss waterfall, the most prominent waterfall that Floki visited in the show. Here's some beautiful drone footage I got of Skogafoss. It truly is a majestic waterfall. I was in just as much awe as Floki was in the show. Skogafoss is located on the Skoga River in the southern part of Iceland. It's a 60-meter drop from the top of the waterfall. Here's a side-by-side shot where I tried to reenact the stance Floki had in the show. I must say that this is an incredible shot. We also did the hike to go to the top of the waterfall. The vantage point from here is also very majestic. It really puts you in awe to be in the presence of such a beautiful natural wonder. We also visited some of Iceland's black sand beaches. Specifically, Floki lands at Reynisfjara Black Sand Beach when he arrives in Iceland in the show. So we made this beach a must-visit destination. It is Ireland's most iconic black sand beach. It's a 2.5-hour drive from Reykjavik. The sand is black due to it originating from black volcanic rock. Reynisfjara is one of the most majestic beaches I have ever visited. The only real downside to this beach is that it was pretty crowded. In addition to Vikings, this beach was also a filming location for Game of Thrones and Star Wars Rogue One. This setting appears to have been significantly edited for what appears on screen. Unfortunately, the biggest bummer about our trip to the beach, and really the whole trip in general, was that my drone was damaged due to some of the black sand being blown into it. Needless to say, this was very disappointing, as it prevented me from getting proper drone footage of Reynisfjara and some of the other sites we visited. Not gonna lie, this was easily the most disappointing thing that happened during the trip. We also went to Black Beach Restaurant, the restaurant on the beach, where, lo and behold, there was a Viking sighting. I know it's just a small little nugget right above the tip jar, but still kinda cool since the show was actually filmed here. Of course, I had to get a meal at the restaurant. Not the greatest burger in the world, but it did the job after all that driving and filming. I took some of the black sand as a quote-unquote prop since Floki was lying down on it. I checked, and yes, it is legal to do this. As you can see in this screenshot from the show, Floki is grasping at some of the same black sand when he first arrives in Iceland. The same black sand that, unfortunately, damaged my drone. Next, we took a trip to Vernufoss, another site that Floki visited in Vikings. The hiking path to the waterfall was incredibly beautiful, truly like something out of a fairy tale. The trail leads all the way up to the underside of the waterfall. It is beautiful all throughout. Like Skogafoss, Vernufoss is on the Skoga River. It's about half the height of Skogafoss, about 30 meters high. Here's a screenshot from the show taken from the very location we were at. You can even see Floki right here. As with Skogafoss, I also tried to recreate one of Floki's poses at Vernufoss. Here's another comparison shot of me looking from the exact same vantage point Floki did in filming of the show. We also visited Gullfoss, another waterfall featured in the show. This is the filming location where Aud commits suicide after Floki's settlement goes awry. I was immediately impressed by the incredible size of this natural wonder. See how small the people in this clip look in comparison to the waterfall? Gullfoss is located in the canyon of the Vita River in southwest Iceland. Gullfoss actually means golden waterfall in Icelandic. Along with Thingvellir and the Haukadalur geysers, Gullfoss forms part of the famous Golden Circle. The suicide scene is filmed from the other side of the waterfall. As you can see from the screenshot comparison, the scene appears to have been filmed on the reverse side of where we were. I don't believe I was able to access it as a four-wheel drive vehicle is needed. And lastly, we went to the Kristuvich geothermal area. Honestly, it really stinks here. My wife actually had to go back to the car because she was getting sick. The foul smell is the result of sulfur deposits. Kristuvich is located on the Reykjanes Peninsula in southwest Iceland. It's about 45 minutes from Reykjavik. The area is full of bubbling mud pits, hot springs, and steam vents. The multicolored spots on the ground are also a key feature of what makes this area unique. This bubble pit looks similar to the one Floki was using to tend to the cut on his hand. A large version of this bubble pit was right by the entrance. Very cool. This area here definitely reminded me of the Iceland scenes in the show. In fact, as part of my Vikings prop collecting, I have acquired some of the actual production-used blueprints and concept art pieces that were used in the show. I acquired these from the reputable auction house VIP Fan Auctions after they auctioned off many of the production-used items from the show. I also acquired this, which is a nice concept art piece of the Iceland landscape. Iceland is one of the most memorable and unique places my wife and I have been to in our lifetimes. The fact that I was able to visit several of the places that appeared in the Vikings TV show made it even more amazing. I honestly probably would never even have come to Iceland had it not been for the Vikings TV show, but boy, would I have been missing out. This trip will definitely be an experience that I will never forget. Thanks for watching, hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time.